last week we talked about the first Wolf Creek. This week we will finish this very small franchise with Wolf Creek 2. This came out in like 2013. This one I saw on Netflix many years ago. I was curious to check it out again to see if it was as good as I remembered, and yes, I think this one is not a whole lot better than the first one, but it's definitely better than the first one. I really like this one. It's just more stylish. It looks better. So let's get into the positives, because I don't really need to give you a plot synopsis. It's the same movie as the first one. Mick Taylor, the Australian slasher, picking off tourists because he hates tourists. So now the positives for this movie, like I already kind of said, this movie is shot better. It looks better. It's cleaner. It's more stylish. Really like the bigger feel of it too, and even the kills and the gore, like it's a step up. Everything is like dialed up a little bit more. But still somewhat grounded like the first one. I really like the gore in this one. It's dialed up just a little bit more. You get to see a hell of a lot more actually on screen, like aftermath gore, people getting hacked limb from limb, dick and balls getting chopped off and thrown to like the animals or something. Or am I thinking about Hostel 2? I'm thinking about Hostel now. But you still get to see like a dick and balls get like chopped off. This one goes for it, man. Heads getting shot clean off, like blown the fuck up. This one is just gruesome, very gory. It's a gore fest, man. And the characters in the first one, the three that we got, I said that they were just fine. I didn't really know too much about them. I didn't care about them. They had fine chemistry with each other, but I didn't really care about them that much. In this one, we get way less time with this German couple, but I love them way more than those three characters because of their chemistry together, their love for each other, just the things they're saying, their dialogue, their performances. I really like this German couple for the little time we get them. Spoiler, I mean, this movie's not really about them. It's about this other guy who kind of comes in like 30 minutes into the film. So, but they're way better than those three characters in the first one to me. Am I alone on that? What do you think? Do you like the guy and two girls in the first one, or are you like me and you like this German couple way more? I really like these people. Mick Taylor, once again, just like in the first one, I thought he was phenomenal in this movie. He has great one-liners. Welcome to Australia, motherfucker, or cocksucker. It kind of reminded me of the line in Texas Chainsaw 3D, welcome to Texas, motherfucker. This one's just more fun. It's more quickly paced than the first one. This one just gets right into it. Like, we see Mick in the first, 10-15 minutes. In the first one, I think it took over 25 to 30 minutes at least until you saw him. Like, this one, it just goes by quicker. It just hits the ground running. We see this German couple hang out for about 10 minutes, and then boom, there's Mick, and it just never stops from that moment on. And I really like Mick's torture dungeon. Like, this one kind of goes for more of the torture porn element. In the third act, it gets very brutal and just gruesome, and I really like his torture dungeon and just the set design of his little place there. It's a whole different place than the first one. In the first one, I think it was more just like a junkyard in the middle of nowhere. This one, he's got like an underground lair, just multiple tunnels. He's got like Rambo Last Blood traps set up, like he's the collector too, like just wooden spikes everywhere, trap doors that close. This one, like I said, it dials things up a bit. So yeah, just like most sequels, it kind of goes bigger and badder. The negatives for this one would be, I didn't care for the ending of this movie. It's redundant. It's repetitive of the first one, and a decision that the killer makes at the end kind of goes against his character. I'm not sure why he did what he does. I won't spoil it, but it goes against what he's known for. So I'm not sure what the hell was going on there, why he did that. But yeah, I wasn't crazy about that last couple minutes. The British guy, the main guy we're following for the second 2/3 of the movie, we get zero information about this guy. He just pops up, and I know nothing about this guy. We get one little moment where we find out a little bit about his childhood, that he used to listen to Australian music. That's it. I don't know this guy's name. I don't know why he's even in Australia. He's British. So he's just there doing what? Like, this character is just kind of blah to me. I don't know. He's bland. Like, I don't know who he is. There's nothing to him at all. Like, there's nothing for me to root for. He doesn't have a personality set up. There's no setup for this character. He just bumps into the German girl, and then he's thrown through the ringer throughout the rest of the movie, just getting tortured and running away. And I just feel like that was a mistake. We should have gotten something with that character. I just didn't care for him as much as the German girl. Like, I would have rather have her just be the final girl throughout the movie because I liked her more. But other than that, I think the movie's really good. It's better than the first one, like I said. It's really tense at times. It's got some cool chase sequences. Like, you get to see Mick Taylor on a horse using a whip. He's just blowing people away with his gun, and it's just bigger and badder than the first one. So if you really like the first one, I think you'll love the second one. And if you don't, you're crazy. But yeah, when it comes to Wolf Creek 2, if you love the first one, definitely check out the second one. It's extra bloody, extra fun. That kangaroo scene is amazing. So go out and buy it. Alright, time for a quick spoiler discussion. So we open up with the same exact opening text as the first one, like word for word. And then we get these dickhead cops. Like, over the top dickhead cops. Like, this guy, like, went to their house, took a shit on their lawn, and then slapped their daughter in the face and pissed on their mother's grave. Did whatever. Like, what did this guy do to them? Like, it's like he offended them personally just being there. The way they're treating him, the things they're saying to him, like, they're pulling him over for not speeding. And then saying he was speeding, and then giving him a ticket, treating him like shit. Like, this movie is just making you beg for them to die. Like, oh, they're gonna get it. So now it's like, in this opening, he's the hero. In the rest of the movie, he's the villain, but in the opening of this film, he's the hero. Like, oh my god, kill these cops, make them suffer. And he does, of course. They drive away. This guy with his punchable face gets his head blown clean off. Like, from like the mouth up, just this section, just blown off. Awesome. I'm not sure if a sniper bullet would do that, but whatever. I like that it did. And I thought it was ironic that he had dead pigs in the back of his truck, and now we got these dead pigs, these cops, getting shot and killed. This other cop, before he gets burned alive, he tries to pull this whole, like, I got kids trick. Like, maybe if I say I have kids, he'll let me live. I doubt this piece of shit has kids. It was probably just, a desperate attempt to survive. Like, I want to go home and see my children. It's like, you don't have kids. And then we meet the German tourist who, for some reason, they're just going across Australia without a car. They're just hitchhiking the whole way. Dangerous. Obviously, they've never seen a horror movie ever. That's a terrible idea. So they set up camp, and Mick Taylor pops up. They're having a discussion. Things start, the tension starts rising. He's starting to not trust him. Tells his girlfriend to call the police, and when he has his back turned, he gets thrown up against the truck, gets his back stabbed like the chick in part 1, gets kind of paralyzed, although not completely, because he does get back up and start fighting Mick. But in the while he's on the ground with his back bleeding, you think he's paralyzed or dead. He gets the girlfriend, he starts tying her up, he's like about to rape her, but then the boyfriend comes to help her, and while they're struggling, there's a knife right there in the ground. Her hands are free, like they're tied, but she can still grab the knife and start stabbing the motherfucker. But she doesn't. She pulls a Ginny in Friday the 13th Part 2, just watching Paul get his ass kicked. It's like, come on. But yeah, I guess it's realistic. Some people just get frozen in shock, and she does get frozen in shock when her boyfriend's getting his like throat slit, and he starts sawing his head off, and the head comes clean off. Great effects. And like, just her performance in that moment was really good. Like, she really sold like how shocked and just terrified she was. She's a really good actress. I really like her, which is why I wanted her to survive. I felt very bad for her. I really wish she was the final person to live in this movie, not this random British guy that she bumps into shortly right after this. So, but yeah, he captures her, knocks her out. He's like, I'm going to rape and torture you for the next 3 months at least. But then She wakes up and she sees her boyfriend naked, getting his body like ripped apart. Like he has a meat cleaver taking his arms and legs off, takes his dick and balls off, and just throws them. Just very macabre and nasty. Just, yeah, that's some gruesome shit. And then she just runs off, and then she bumps into the British guy. He picks her up, and he like cuts her loose, but he's like not in a hurry to get the fuck out of there. Like if someone bloodied like that with their hands tied, and they're in the middle of nowhere, they get in your car, you speed off first, then you untie them later. The way, the fact that he even was like hesitating and kind of just standing there for a while was unrealistic to me. It's like, dude, you need to get out of there now. And of course, there's no cell phone service. He's like, before he picks her up, he's on the phone with his girlfriend, and her name's like My Angel on his phone. Oh, how romantic. But, there's no cell phone service, of course. None of the characters had cell phones in the first one, but that movie came out in what, 2000? Oh, it took place in 99. So I guess not a whole lot of people have cell phones in 99. But this is a sequel to that movie, and this takes place after. This one didn't even say what year it was. Is this 99? I mean, dude, he had a more. Man, I would have to go back and look at that scene to see what a cell phone looked like. I mean, when the person called, it looked like an iPhone. Like the picture popped up and everything. So this one must take place years later. Maybe this is like current day when it was made. So like what, 2013? So yeah, this is like over a decade later after the first one. Like within the story, because this is 8 years after the first one was made. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, I'm not sure what the timeline is for these two movies. But yeah, I know the first one takes place in 99. But I'm not sure about this one. Anyways, getting past that. So, we get a similar scene like in the first one where, he's chasing him and he gets like side by side with him and he's looking over, he's like licking the knife, he's taunting them, antagonizing them, just acting crazy as usual, being funny. And he crashes Mick and they start laughing out like, haha, and then they're not paying attention, and then they crash their car. And then Mick comes up with the sniper. He's about to shoot the British guy, but he ducks down and he accidentally shoots the German girl like right through the cheek and like blows out the other cheek. Oh, what a poor, poor woman. She did not deserve that. But yeah. And he's like pissed. He's like, now you're going to be my bitch. Somebody's replacing her. So he's basically going to like rape and torture this guy. Because even like at the end of the movie, he gets like a dress out. He's like, you're going to put this on and now you're going to be my bitch. And so yeah, then he like runs off and he bumps into this house. And at first, like he doesn't see the house for some reason. At first, he like crashes down. He looks up. He's like, oh my gosh, there's a house right there. It's like, well, how did you not see it at first? I don't get how he didn't see that house before he passed out. I don't know, but it's just a little dumb thing. Then we get the best scene in the movie, and that's the kangaroo scene. They're playing like the song "In the Jungle," the Mighty Jungle, that song. All these kangaroos are hopping in front of the semi. It's also like Joyride, because Mick Taylor, he steals like a big rig, like an 18-wheeler, killed some other trucker, I guess. And they're just running over kangaroos. They're getting splat underneath all the tires. It's freaking hysterical and mean to these kangaroos. But they're stupid. They're just hopping in front of cars like idiots. They don't know any better. But it's just funny. I mean, unless you're like an extreme animal lover, then you're probably just going to cry at this scene. But I had a good chuckle. But yeah, he's like, welcome to Australia, cocksucker. Just a great line. And then he crashes the 18-wheeler. Like, this movie feels bigger, man. Like, there's so many more stunts and just explosions. Like, this big old rig, this truck just going down the hill, and it crashes into the other truck or the Jeep and explodes. This one is just bigger and badder, like I said. And so then we get a horse chasing scene, which I thought was awesome to see, like, or a killer or a villain on a horse chasing the victim. He gets the British guy, takes him to his torture dungeon, ties him up, and then they have like this singing karaoke session with each other. They start just singing songs, Australian songs, and then he gives him a torture quiz. For every question you get wrong, I'm going to take a finger off with this buzzsaw. And he gets a question right, but he doesn't like the answer that's correct, and he still takes a finger like an asshole. And that he takes the hammer, hits him over the head. Mick Taylor, it's just a strong motherfucker, even though he got hit right in the head, like inside of the head with a hammer. He gets right back up and starts trying to like have a knife fight with the guy. It's like, this guy's in his upper 50s. No matter how old you are, age aside, getting hit in the head with a hammer would knock you out or kill you. But he's just like, no, shake it off. Like, you probably cracked my skull open, but whatever. So then the guy's running off. He sees all these bodies. There's like dozens and dozens of bodies everywhere. There's like cages hanging from the ceiling with skeletons in them. But a lot of the bodies are like fresh, like not even more than a year old. Just like within the last few months, like he's been killing a lot of people, man. And he sends like his attack dogs out, like he's the collector. And that guy doesn't have a name, the collector in the collection, does he? No. He's just the collector, but he has his own personal attack dogs. And then one of the dogs sets off one of the Mick's traps, and the door comes down and it stabs the dog right in the neck. Awesome, just very funny. We get this cliche moment in the movie where they're waiting for the person to walk by. They're gonna like hit, or they're gonna kill somebody. They think it's the bad guy coming around the corner, and you know for a fact it's not. Some other random person walks by. They hit and they kill the wrong person. It happens in so many movies. And it happens here. Turns around, bumps into Mick. Mick knocks him out, calls him a loser, and then the guy wakes up naked on the street. Cops come up. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? He's got blood all over him. He has this note that just says loser on it. So Mick let him go. I don't know why. Like, after all the shit you went through trying to capture this guy, the guy who took your lover, like, your next victim that you were going to rape and torture for 3 months, you're going to let that guy go? The guy who you were also going to fuck and torture for 3 months? Like, you're throwing the dress at him, like, put this on, pretty lady. Now you're just letting him go? I don't get that. I don't understand that. How do you go from, I'm going to keep you here, rape you and torture you for a few months until I'm bored, to, well, you hit me in the head with a hammer, you almost got away, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to give you a note that says that you're a loser. I don't like that ending. So yeah. And then like the end text at the end of this movie says that, the cops didn't believe him. They found no evidence. There were no bodies. He escaped. Just like the first one. Except this guy isn't, living free like the guy in the first one. This guy was permanently put into a mental hospital. That's what it said. So this guy did not have a happy ending. So that's kind of a bummer of an ending. But yeah, at least he got to live. So that's the end of the movie. My favorite kill in this movie is the deputy guy who gets his head sniped clean off in the beginning. Awesome open. Mr. Twig Award for lamest kill in this movie is the old couple who just get shot off camera. And the clap award for best scene in this film is the kangaroo car chase with all the kangaroos getting hit and ran over. The one-liner from Mick. It's just a very fun scene. And the cutest chick in this movie for me is the German girl, easily. She is absolutely gorgeous. And those are my thoughts on Wolf Creek 2. What did you think about this movie? Put all your thoughts of it in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, hit this like button. I really appreciate it. And become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, everybody, auf Wiedersehen.